Most people carry inside them a deep potential, a force capable of shaping their world, influencing others, and creating something meaningful. But according to one of history's most profound thinkers, that potential often goes to waste, not because of failure, not because of lack of talent, but because of something far more common: comfort. Friedrich Nietzsche, the German philosopher known for challenging conventional ideas, believed that mediocrity wasn't the result of lack of ability. It was the result of choosing the easy path again and again until you no longer recognize the person you could have become. He warned that if you're not careful, you'll end up living someone else's idea of life, not because you were forced to, but because it was easier. In his book, Untimely Meditations, Nietzsche wrote, "He who despises himself still respects himself as one who despises. But the man of the masses, lazy and complacent, has not even that dignity left." This idea, that comfort and laziness erode your dignity, might sound harsh. But Nietzsche didn't believe people were inherently weak. He believed people chose weakness by ignoring the voice inside them that whispers, "You are meant for more." And perhaps the most tragic part? Most people never hear that voice at all. Instead, they live lives of quiet repetition, waking up, going through the motions, choosing distraction over depth, pleasure over progress, and ease over effort, until one day, it's too late to change. Nietzsche feared this condition so much that he gave it a name: the last man. The last man isn't evil. He's not violent or cruel. In fact, he's quite content. He avoids pain, avoids struggle, avoids responsibility. He watches, scrolls, laughs, and consumes. He works, but only enough to earn rest. He's just comfortable. But that comfort has a cost. The last man is incapable of greatness, not because he lacks the tools, but because he's too afraid to suffer for something worthwhile. In Thus Spoke Zarathustra, Nietzsche paints a haunting image. They have left the regions where it was hard to live, for one needs warmth. One still loves one's neighbor and rubs against him, for one needs warmth. What is love? What is creation? What is longing? What is a star? So asks the last man, and blinks. The last man isn't evil, he's empty. And Nietzsche's greatest fear was that society would become filled with them. People so addicted to comfort that they forget how to strive, how to hunger for something more. And if you think this is just old philosophy, consider a modern parallel. There's a tale of two students. One spends their evenings watching shows, gaming, and scrolling social media. They laugh, relax, and tell themselves they'll start working tomorrow. The other student spends time studying, building skills, and challenging themselves. They're not perfect, but they show up every day. Fast forward 5 years. One has options, confidence, and a sense of direction. The other, regret, excuses, and a distant memory of who they hoped to become. This story isn't about school, it's about the principle of investment. Those who invest in themselves consistently, even in small doses, are planting seeds for a future only they will get to harvest. Aesop once told a fable about a grasshopper and an ant. All summer long, the grasshopper sang and danced in the sunshine while the ants worked, gathering food for winter. The grasshopper laughed. "Why work so hard?" he asked. "There's plenty of time." But when winter came, the grasshopper was starving, shivering, and desperate. He knocked on the ants' door, begging for help. They turned him away. The morale? Life has seasons. Summer feels infinite until it ends. If you spend it chasing pleasure, you'll be unprepared for what comes next. But here's something Nietzsche didn't fully account for. The opposite extreme is just as dangerous. Some people don't become the lazy grasshopper. They become the relentless machine, working constantly, hustling without purpose, always chasing the next title, the next goal, the next dollar, but never asking, why am I doing this? In Brazilian folklore, there's a story of a simple fisherman. He rises early, catches enough fish to feed his family, enjoys time with his children, takes an afternoon nap, and watches the sunset with his wife. One day, a wealthy entrepreneur visits and says, "You should scale up. Get a bigger boat, hire a crew, sell your fish, and build an empire." The fisherman asks, "And then what?" "Well, then you'll be rich. You can retire early, relax, and spend time with your family." The fisherman smiles, "But that's what I already do." This story reveals a truth we often forget. Productivity is only valuable if it leads to joy, purpose, and peace. Mindless hustle is just as toxic as mindless laziness. So where's the balance? The answer lies in what I call joyful productivity. Joyful productivity is the art of pursuing meaningful goals without losing yourself in the process. It's about working with intention, not obsession, creating value, not just output, and making progress, real progress, without burning out or selling your soul for a paycheck. Here's the key difference. Laziness asks, "How can I avoid effort?" Slavishness asks, "How much can I produce, no matter the cost?" But joyful productivity asks, "What can I build today that brings me closer to who I want to become and helps others too?" It's not about perfection, it's about direction. It's choosing a path that's a little harder than comfort, but much more rewarding than mindless ambition. Because here's the truth. Winter will come. Challenges will arise. You'll face moments where your old habits won't be enough to carry you through. But if you've built a foundation, if you've embraced joyful productivity, you'll be ready. You won't need to beg others for help. You'll be strong enough to help them. And one more thing. Nietzsche believed that the highest goal in life was not happiness. It was becoming who you truly are. He called this the path of the Übermensch, the person who dares to create their own values, to rise above the herd, and to live with purpose. That path begins the moment you stop asking, "What's easiest?" and start asking, "What's worth it?" You already have the potential. The question is, will you use it? Or will you blink? Like the last man, the choice is yours.